Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. And so this is going to be an interesting video because I'm in a space of, and all of you, probably, I'd say most of you who watch these videos are, I would guess probably pretty highly sensitive people. I know I am, and one of the many reasons why I ended up with struggles with food and body image issues. So this video is going to be one of those ones where it's a little bit like, oh, how hard it is to hold a space of joyfulness and honestly sometimes pain and hurt at the same time. And it's one of the reasons why we struggle so much with going back and forth between I'm going to do this, I got this, I'm breaking up, I'm going to be done with dieting, and then why we go back and forth. And oftentimes we don't realize that we are just feeling ambivalent. And that's the word I'm going to use because I've always detested the word resistant. I remember when I would read in books about counseling skills, and I'm going to talk about the joyful stuff I got going on today here in a second. And I guess I'll just go ahead and talk about it. Tomorrow starts my non-diet counseling skills training for professionals like dietitians, dietitians-to-be, coaches. It's my third iteration. I'm super excited. Got some amazing people in here that are going. They're already doing it. They're already helping people, but I'm just excited for what the future is for them around reaching more and more people because we need it. So I'm just ecstatic about it. They're amazing. I'm so grateful to get to be a part of their journey of developing their skills further and getting their confidence and being out there. And maybe you'll see them out there doing this kind of work more broadly, which I'm excited about. And, in their local communities and online and all that. So I'm super excited about that. And I feel a lot of, gratefulness and joy about it. And I think this is where it gets confusing. I'm going to go back to the resistance in a second. Is that we can also feel joyful and feel frustrated or angst or pain at the same time, which is kind of the space I'm in today. Because if you are a highly sensitive person, it's very, very, very difficult just not to be feeling everything that's going on. And I have days where it's like, I can be grounded in my own situation and just feel the pain or the weight of a lot of things around us in the world, or maybe with my clients or family or whatever it is that's going on. I'm trying to know what's mine and what's not and deal with all that in an appropriate, non-reactive way the best I can, which I sometimes fail at. It's okay. We're human and we get overwhelmed. But the point of this video is the reason why, and I've made many videos about this, and this is one of my passions and drivers with this work, is you understanding that you're gone when you decide to be an intuitive eater or you decide to be in recovery. You're still going to have times where you go back and forth between it and the old thoughts and behaviors. That's just kind of how it is. You got to build new neural pathways, and you especially got to understand that all of it has a function. You use that as a way to help yourself. And it doesn't mean, though, you're not going to have some sorrow or ambivalence about, I'm doing something that's good for me. Who wouldn't say that it's not good to accept your body? I mean, people who are fat phobic, and that freaks them out. So they're going to think that I'm promoting people not caring about their health. That's what they're going to say and think, but that's not true. But people might think that. What I promote is, body trust and respect and autonomy, and us being embodied in our lives, and that can happen all shapes and sizes. So we don't need to. That's not promotion of any ill health whatsoever. That's actually sanity. But anyway, going back is that we can know that all this is really good. Intuitive eating is good. It's we are born and wired to eat this way, and it's sane, and it's non-judgmental. It's great, and you can still make nutrient-dense food decisions as an intuitive eater. That's part of it. But there's a reason why sometimes take time, or a lot of time, why some things are hard, why we go back to certain behaviors, why we get stuck. And it's because there is some ambivalence. There's some parts of us that are really scared to let it go, which is why we still count, which is why we still sometimes bash our bodies or compare or want to buy a scale again, or get back up your Fitbit. It's because, we're still all on this journey to lay down enough safety in our systems and in our world, like our outside tangible world and our inside world, to feel like we've got enough window to handle whatever's going on. So go back to the word resistance. When I hear the word resistance in counseling books, especially the I remember in college, like they'll say the client is resistant to like nutrition changes or blah, blah, blah. That would make me so mad. Just because somebody doesn't tell you what to do doesn't mean they're resistant. It just means that there's something in them, that there's something going on that we need to like be in inquiry about. So if a client, that's why, you'll know the difference between somebody who's trying to tell you this is how you should do your food and somebody being with you that's going to guide you about what you need to do that's the best for you. Okay, so anyway, if you're in your space, like, why can't I just let this go? Or why can't I just like not eat the food or whatever? Well, what do I need to do that? The better question is, what's going on that's, where's the ambivalence? Or what's it like for you to, get your needs met? Or what's it like for you to have support? Or what would it be like for you to feel better, like physically, for whatever, either, have your eating more attuned, or to move your body when it needs to be moved, or not move your body when it doesn't want to be moved. What's that like? And you will get the answer to some of these questions. It's like, oh, part of me is really excited about that, and part of me is just like, I'm so scared. I feel like I have no ground, or I'm afraid to be seen, or whatever. And those are, this is the fundamental stuff. This is stuff that we have to go towards, because that's what's going to end the body comparing. That's what's going to end the need to calorie count and all that. Not because somebody tells you that like you shouldn't calorie count, or that helps. Just to make the decision not to do it is huge. You get freedom from that, and you got to go to the next step, to where people ask me like, well, like I still think about calorie counting in my head. Like, well, yeah, that's going to happen for a while. It's more about what you do with that and inquiry about that. That's going to make the difference between like it's just something you white knuckle and then something that eventually just has no use for you. Okay, so I hope this helps. I actually had a lot of thoughts about what I want to talk about today as I sat down to do this video. And so I am going to share with you now what else is to come this week, because there's a lot coming up. And so I want you to do inquiry today about like when, check in about what it's like for you to do something that would be good for you. And I'll give you an example of why this is so important, because, if I had been able to do this kind of inquiry when I first started this, because at the beginning there's a honeymoon period with intuitive eating, or even recovery, because I wasn't doing it. When I got to that edge of like just always being on a meal plan and always having everything like, positive motion forward and all that kind of stuff. When I was in that space, like I was really motivated, but when like life got a little more complicated again and I had a little more stressors, is when that desire to come back on a diet started coming in. But I also knew I couldn't go back to full bore restriction, because, I would end up back where I was and my life was a total disaster. So I didn't go back there, but this is where it gets sneaky, is that I was not, let's say I was eating what I needed to be doing the right thing, being a good patient, quote unquote, but I wasn't digging below like what the function of all this was. I was just like, getting physically healthier, eating more normally, at least it looked like on the surface, but there was still so much underneath. So I could look normal from a physical perspective, but inside I was like this raging tornado of up and down all over the place, and not really knowing myself, or what grounded or non-reactive looked like. I was just doing what I was, the right thing, trying to follow the protocols. And what that led to was, okay, well, I'm not going to try to be thin anymore. I'm not going to restrict like I used to. I'm just going to be healthy. I'm going to be fit. And that was a 5-year journey into the pit of hell of, using, instead of thinness, but fitness as a way to like basically contain all the things that, I tried to use restriction for, but it didn't really work because it got me down this really bad place. But as eating problems often do, they morph. And so instead of like, well, okay, I'll eat what I want, but, exercise became the thing. Or before there was clean eating, I was doing clean eating, and counting macros and stuff. And this is like back in the late 90s when, kind of only bodybuilders did that kind of stuff, but that's what I was doing. And so it just switches. And so if we make it about like thinness, maybe just switch it from thinness to fitness, let's say, all you end up with is just continuing with the ambivalence. I never ask, like, well, what's going on? Like, is making me body compare right now? What's that about? It was just like, I don't want you to turn intuitive eating into the intuitive eating diet, essentially, and do the right thing, but still feel internally ambivalent and unmoored internally. It's not what freedom is about. Okay, so I want you to really think about like getting deeper with this stuff. If you need help with it, please contact me. But anyway, that was a 5-year journey of like restricting, binging, over-exercise. It was just different. And if I can save you, like, so if you start intuitive eating right now, not that I can save you, but if I can save you the time and the energy and the angst, and just affirm life for you in this way, I'd like to say that you got to dig in there. Don't berate yourself that like, oh, okay, well, I'm not doing hunger and fullness right, or well, what's the point of this not making me thinner or fitter or whatever. You got to go through the steps. You've got to, again, when I say steps, meaning, the first step is like not dieting, of course. And the next step is trying to give like actually a real full permission when you can, or if it feels, even if you're doing the right thing and you still feel like this is awful, then there's the real work is to be done there. Like, what is going on that like me giving myself what I need feels so terrible? What's going on? That's the stuff I didn't know how to do in 1996 when I was 18, 19 years old. And that's what got me into that next iteration of eating stuff. But it looked socially acceptable. It looked like the normal fitness people, who constantly, again, there was no Instagram. I probably would have been an Instagram person that was constantly doing, lots of pictures of myself on Instagram in a not very productive way, if that had existed. But I was doing lots of mirror checking and food, body checking and clothes checking, all that kind of stuff around muscle and fitness and all that good stuff. And it was the same thing as food restricting, same thing as dieting. It's not different. The binging was just the flip when my body couldn't biologically take it, and emotionally restricting wasn't cutting it, and so binging brought comfort and relief from the things that weren't getting met on the restriction side. And so it all means something. So I'm rambling a little. I just want to let you all know that like if you feel like that, like, okay, I've been doing this intuitive eating thing 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, and I'm still really struggling, then you got to look more, because it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, it doesn't have to last as long as that to get to understand and to be able to lean into that flinch of like, okay, I'm doing what I think I should be doing and I still feel terrible. There's a deeper story there. So I hope this was helpful. What I was going to talk about, I thought today, but I thought it would be way too many topics in one video because a lot was coming up, is I want to talk about, I'll probably do this Wednesday. I think that's what I want to do. So if you want to tune into this conversation, please do. I'm not sure what time it'll be. Probably like this, like midday-ish. I think the videos are going to either mostly these days, probably going to be morning, but more likely midday Eastern time. So whatever that means, 11, 12, 1, something like that. If I want to talk about taking up space, it's a pretty big topic. You hear any person who's been in this work and knows about how to help people heal from disordered eating and body image issues and diet trauma is we're just scared to death, petrified of that. And I want to teach you guys about just how to make all that feel less excruciating. Okay, because there's a real reason why it's so hard to like talk to people about this, because we're scared to like have confrontation and get shut down, or eat fully what we want to with people, or even just not feel bad about taking care of ourselves. Sometimes there's a lot of greed that like you feel guilt or shame, or like you feel greedy or needy for like getting your needs met. If you're one of those people that feels this way, this video is going to be for you on Wednesday. So and you're none of those things, by the way, but it feels like that. And I want to talk about why it feels like that and what we can do. So I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you for showing up, and I will talk to you all in the next video. I feel like I had one more thing I want to say. I don't remember. I think I'm going to put the link down to like the 6 audio, like if you already have I think I'm going to put this link down below to this like 6 audio series. There's a little bit of a fee to it, but it's not very much. But it talks about some practices for like dealing with those internal flinches and that ambivalence of like I'm doing what I need to do and I feel terrible. If you're experiencing all that, then these might be for you, because I think it'll help you feel more grounded and on purpose of what needs to happen as you continue to do this intuitive eating process. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.